Yo, welcome everyone to Weird Growth, the podcast where we hear the strange and often unpredictable journeys that founders find themselves on. Today, we have Brennan, who's the founder of Quantum Contract Solutions. He's also winner of 2CC ClickFunnels Awards, finalist of Small Business of the Year, the Small Business Champions, nominated for Telstra Small Business Outstanding Growth Awards, and the Telstra Small Business Embracing Innovation Awards. I'm going to need a breath. And the finalist of Startup Executive of the Year with the CEO magazine, Cian, thank you so much for being on the show, mate. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
It's great to have you here. It's going to be a fun chat today, actually. But please, I can do one version of introducing you, which is that amazing list of awards and nominations. But please, how would you introduce yourself?
Well, it's funny you say that. We've been playing around with the intro for a while.
Yeah.
So I'm CEO of Quantum Group now.
Quantum Group. That sounds
because
impressive.
we've just started Quantum Legal Solutions as well.
Okay.
So we've got Quantum Contract Solutions and
Yes.
Quantum Legal Solutions.
Right.
So a similar sort of model to the first one.
So what is that model? What do you do?
It's essentially helping small businesses with a particular service,
Yes.
right? So with the first one is construction subcontractors.
Uh-huh.
So that's the niche is construction sub, and we help them with contractual and legal support.
Amazing.
Okay,
Yep.
so we basically a retainer model service.
So it's like legal advice as a service for people in the construction industry. Is that right?
Commercial and legal.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
Yeah, in that.
fascinating.
And then for the legal business itself, we obviously do we draft legal contracts as well.
Yep.
But it's compliance.
Yeah. Okay.
So are you complying with the law, basically? And then you pay us a monthly retainer, and we make sure that you are.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Nice business model. We'll get stuck into it in a minute. First, I have a little pop quiz for you.
Cool.
So if you were to start another business, not that you're not busy enough at the moment, but if you were to start a new business from scratch right now,
Yeah.
what would it be? And who would you be helping?
Oh, who would I be helping? What I've really gotten into recently is the model.
Yes.
And then kind of working back, right?
right.
And I think the best delivery at the moment is something where you sell like a 10, 15 grand upfront.
Yes.
Right, we'll do a certain amount of work for you for 10 or 15 grand.
Yep.
And then after that, you pay us a retainer model.
Right. So it's the ongoing
Ongoing
revenue.
Revenue.
Okay.
And so I think I would like to, and I've been thinking about this as well.
Yeah,
I'd like
yeah,
to
yeah.
shoehorn that back away. And so what services do that? And we could have repackaged my service to do that.
Sure.
But I think that's what's really working right now.
Yeah.
So
it's
I'd
fascinating.
reverse it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's that kind of business model works. So it's like, you might be in a specific vertical, legal, marketing,
Yep.
like here at Ammo, but it's some sort of like high level, high value advisory
Yep.
or
Yep.
service.
Yep.
And then it makes sense for businesses to buy that because rather than engaging a professional and the sort of fee structure being unpredictable,
Yep.
it's more of a smoothed out sort of retainer kind of thing. Is that?
That's
really-
it.
yeah.
You don't have to worry. First of all, your cost should be a quarter.
Yep.
It should be,
Yep.
right? Because this is a company that only does that thing over and over and over again. They can churn out
Got
work.
a system and a process.
Exactly. You should never have to deal with HR issues. And you should be able to just sack them whenever you want.
Nice. So
Right.
it's just a monthly rolling thing and you turn it off when you're finished. Or
Exactly.
done,
Or
you don't
whenever
need it
you
anymore.
feel like you're not getting the
Fascinating.
value.
So it might be the business might be how do you help other services companies build that into their business model perhaps or something like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Oh,
I think so. I think
fascinating.
that's what works right now.
And people are definitely getting more used to that SaaS model, I suppose, as well.
Yeah.
Like they pay for software that way these days.
Exactly.
Why not services? Cool. Love it. Thanks, mate. You're obviously originally from Ireland.
Yes.
People will be able to tell from the accent, of course. Do you think that's helped with your success in terms of business coming here to Australia? And what have you noticed are the differences of doing business between Ireland and Australia?
That's a funny question. Well, to be honest, I never did business in Ireland.
Okay.
So that's just being honest.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I know Ireland's easy to do business in.
Easier
to
Yep.
do business in. You just look at LinkedIn, Google, Facebook, they're all based in Ireland.
Yes.
For 12% corporation tax, that's what they're there for. But, yeah, I mean, the difference has, I think it's been, being Irish in Australia has been very, very useful. One, you've got a network of Irish people.
Yep.
And everyone works together. Let's help each other out.
Yeah,
but I think Irish people just, if you say, there's no culture clashes.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone says, do you want to go for a beer? I say, yeah, I want to go for a beer.
Let's go for a pint.
Yes, go. And that works. And so many, even a lot of Australian people are second generation, third generation Irish anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure I've probably got Irish ancestry somewhere along the line, yeah.
Yeah, and I think there is a strong work ethic in Ireland. And so when you come over here and you're able to implement that works in your favor.
Yeah.
I think Irish people have got a good reputation of working hard.
Yeah, they certainly do. And I think there's a few cultures that tick that box. You see that with, say, like Vietnamese, for example. They're used to just getting in and Irish people getting in and getting shit done.
Yeah.
And in Australia, for whatever reason, we're a little bit more laid back. And so if anyone works just a little bit harder than, the average Aussie, then you're going to get ahead. And it's really, and I think we respect that and we love seeing that in people who come from overseas. And like more than 50% of Western Australians are born overseas too.
Is that right?
So, there's definitely that like get in and get things done kind of attitude. And people who self-select to come out, to leave their home countries and come here tend to be that sort of type of personality too, I think.
And just to flip that back around, is that a lot of people come here for the relaxed lifestyle and So it's not a case of we work hard.
Yeah,
it's more of we came here to work or to chill out a little bit,
chill out and have
or just have a better lifestyle.
Yeah, it's like the first point of call here in Perth for most Irish people is Scarborough, which is like the coastal suburb.
That was my first port of call.
Was it? Yeah. Oh, mate, you're just a walking stereotype.
2008. It doesn't look as pretty as it was now, does now, though. 2008 was a bit rougher.
Right.
Yeah, there's a few gentlemen walking around in leather, leather jackets on. Oh.
Yep. No, it's still, it's got its edges to it. So that's cool, mate. So can you tell us a little bit more about Quantum Contract, or Quantum Group as it's called now? So with the contracting solutions, how did that all start? What was the genesis for that?
I think if I go back to, I was an employee, right? So not your degree, masters. I was chartered in a construction industry profession.
Yep.
And I work for a consultancy.
Okay.
And 10 to 12 years of that sort of work.
Mm-hmm.
And
so you're working kind of in this industry with those kind of clients already?
Yes.
Doing what?
Contractual work.
Okay.
Quantity surveying was what I was qualified in. So it was cost and contracts. Okay. So managing project cost and also making sure you're compliant with the contract and all that sort of stuff.
So this is when a company is constructing an apartment building, and so they have multiple contractors come in and do parts. So they might have the plumbers and the electricians and the bricklayers.
Yep.
So that part that you need to have a contract and like an agreement in place to engage those builders or those tradies.
Yep.
And so they have an agreement with the builder who's going to be owning the building or constructing the building. That's the part that you're talking about in terms of the contract. Is that right?
Well, where my business, let me give you the overall industry problem.
Sure. Okay.
So the industry problem is in Australia, every year there's 3,000 insolvencies in the construction industry. Every year.
3,000 insolvencies.
And it's not...
Just people going out of business.
Out of business.
Holy moly.
Straight out of business. And 25% of all insolvencies. So it's the biggest sector of companies going out of business in Australia. And the reason for this is at the top of the food chain, you have got the government, developers, investment companies, oil and gas companies. Their number one goal is to build something.
Yep.
It's not money.
Okay.
If they want to build it on time and schedule, but number one goal is to build the thing.
Yep.
Because it's operational and then they can make money on it.
Yep.
And they contract that out to a tier one contractor, like a John Holland or someone like that.
Yeah, right.
Okay. And so they're the main contractor. Mm-hmm. Their number one goal is to make money.
Yep.
Okay. They sub it all the trades out to guys below them, scaffolding companies, civil companies. Now, there's a contract between the tier one, the John Holland, and the government.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty harsh.
Yep.
But they have lawyers on both sides. They both can afford them.
Okay.
Now, for John Holland or the tier ones, when they subcontract down the way, they develop these contracts that are harsher than the one that they've already signed to protect themselves up the line.
So they're pushing
the risk down.
Right.
But to cover themselves.
Yeah.
But the problem is the scaffolding companies, the civil companies, basically tradies who have gotten big. Right? That's what's happened, really.
Yep.
they are the companies that have the harshest contracts, and they have no expertise. They don't have lawyers, and they just sign them.
Yep.
And
This is what their job.
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And it goes tits up, and they go belly up.
Right. Because all the risk has been pushed down onto them.
Exactly.
So if something goes wrong, it comes off of their margin, or they've got to do extra work or fix it or whatever it is. Wow. Okay.
They don't have
that's
the
tough.
commercial nuance to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's the problem, right? So we're trying to solve.
Yep.
And so even when I was working with that consultancy back in the day, they weren't even helping those guys. They were helping the guys up the chain on a day rate basis.
Yeah.
And what I found working for that company is I get seconded into a company, and I would think I did a good job.
Yep.
And so I would do a good job, and I'd go back to them eventually and look for a pay rise or a promotion, and it'd always be a battle.
Yeah, right.
It was a battle, and it's like, but they're giving you massive great feedback, and I don't get it. And then I realized that their actual company isn't a contractual or a company; they're just bums on seats. Yeah. They make money by putting me in there, and then they charge a margin on me.
Yep.
And if I'm looking for a pay rise, I'm eating into the margin.
Okay. So the outcome's almost
it's just
irrelevant.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So then I realized, okay, well, to make money in this industry, I need to win work, and I got to grow a team.
Yep.
And that's how if you're a consultant, that's how you do it.
Sure.
And then as soon as I did that, then I got directors, and like you get promoted.
Yep.
And then I realized I got very fatigued. You have scenarios where I'm about to win a piece of work, and a director comes in and takes it from you last minute and claims all the commission.
How frustrating.
And this is what happens in PwC and EY. All that that's the game they play. But who loses out is the guy who's paying for the service.
Yep.
Because you almost get rewarded for being inefficient.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a bum on a seat and your job is to grow your team, so you grow the teams, you got more people in there delivering, and the longer you can stay there, the better. There's no want or need to get it done quickly and efficiently.
There's no incentive anymore. Yeah.
No, completely not.
So the customer loses.
Customer loses.
Damn.
And then that's essentially why I started the Quantum Contract Solutions, to have the retainer model where we need to be efficient.
Yep.
Because you're not paying us as much money
yep.
as you would be paying like a day rate or sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And for us to do that, we need to have systems in places. But then you ultimately get a better solution at a better price. And ultimately you retain us for longer.
Sure. Because
and we have a better relationship. You like us more because we're value for money, and you feel like you're getting a lot for us.
Yeah. And you're incentivized to do a good job, because then they'll keep you around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we also, because we everything is fully digital, so one guy, like a lawyer in my team, she's working for loads of different clients at the same time. Because if you're in one office, you can only work for that one office at the one time. You're not busy 8 hours a day. You just aren't.
Yep.
No one is.
Yep.
But whereas if you work and you can do this and you can do that, and we have everything systemized and approved, and it's just so much quicker, so
capacity
much better.
Just is huge.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really exciting. So what was the first step? You're in this sort of firm. You made the call that, okay, I've got to do something different.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this a whirl. How did you actually take that first step?
You know what it is, and this would be advice that I'd give to budding entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
is I quit my job.
You just quit.
Just quit.
Without even giving it a try or testing.
There was some stuff. So the company I was working for, I was in the Middle East, and they said, we have a job for you at director level in Perth.
Yep.
But there's no kind of business. You'd have to develop the business yourself. And I was like, a second, if I'm kind of doing this for you anyway, I feel like I should maybe do it for myself. But anyway, it didn't matter, because I had like 2 or 3 years of half thinking of doing something and half starting something, but also working.
Yeah. And so you tried a few things out here and there.
And I just couldn't get the momentum going.
Yeah.
And then when I quit, then you're in panic mode.
I think it'd be a pretty familiar experience for a lot of people.
I think
that might be listening to this, where you can try the side hustle while you're working full time, but it's never going to get the true focus that it needs to take off, right?
Yeah.
To get that early traction.
I think that whole side hustle, what's his name?
Like Tim Ferriss.
Yeah,
or Our Work Week.
Yeah, or the Vaynerchuk, Gary Vaynerchuk.
Gary Vaynerchuk.
Get the side hustle going. And you've definitely got to hustle, I think, of course, but the best hustle is pure panic mode.
You've got to do it to survive.
Do it. You got to do it to survive. And so when that was the best thing for me, is actually quitting,
jumping in both feet first,
having a wife and a kid, another actually my wife wasn't pregnant at the time. She was about to be.
Yeah,
she didn't know it yet, right? So so that lit a fire.
Sharpens the senses.
Yeah. And then you think to yourself, well, if I'm not going to do it, who's going to do it?
Can I ask what you kind of dabbled in beforehand?
Yeah.
Side hustles?
I tried an investment one.
Okay.
I love investing was a passion for me.
Yep.
And I wanted to just do an online course.
Okay.
And it was fine. I got it all done. I got to the point where I sold a few courses.
Oh wow.
Which is quite
well done.
Down the road a little bit.
Sure.
But I wasn't super excited about it.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Going through the motions.
Yeah.
But did you learn any lessons from it?
Yeah, huge amounts.
Yeah.
Huge amount. I learned loads of, I spent so much time on the stupidest things.
Yeah.
Like so much time.
Like irrelevant things.
Irrelevant
you look back
things.
and you're like, okay, it was a waste of time.
Waste of time.
Yeah. Like what? Like brand and things?
Brand and logo and website and all this sort of stuff that just really doesn't move the dial.
Yeah. Such a common story again, when we see, that's why we talk about minimum viable brand a lot.
Yeah.
So you don't need all the bells and whistles. You just need something that makes you look professional, clean, tidy. You can get something off the ground, start selling something, look legitimate enough that a customer's not going to be frightened away.
Yeah.
And then you can grow and build on that later as you learn about your customers and what you're
exactly.
good at. Yeah.
I mean, the most effective websites have almost nothing on them.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. They just have one call to action.
Right.
The landing pages. I think the most effective landing page is those bulk newsletter ones. What they called the hustle.co.
Yep.
And basically you just land on a page. There's no links anywhere else, and there's only one opt-in. That's it. That's all you got. It's your only choice.
Yep. Why do you think that they work so well?
There's only one thing to do.
Okay.
You do the thing or go away.
Yep.
That's it. There's no, I'll click on this thing over here for a little bit and I'll come back and then, what the result of landing on a website is to capture someone's email address so they could become a lead and potentially a client.
Take some sort of action at least.
Some sort of action.
Right.
If people are just browsing, and I'm sure they're consuming content maybe and you're getting a bit of trust, but really you want people to do something.
Exactly. Yeah. And if there's no other distractions and you're clear about what you're asking them to do and it's super obvious, then it's so much more likely just to happen. It's just simple psychology, really. Yeah. That's awesome. So how did you find your first customers then? Here in Australia for Quantum, you sort of figured out you wanted to create this service.
Yeah.
How did you find those first customers?
What I wanted to do was I wanted to go, look, I'm just going to do all of your contracts admin for you. So I'll just do it. I'll do it all for you. That's what I wanted to do. That's what they needed.
Yes.
Right?
They didn't care how.
No. This is where I'm getting to, right?
Yeah.
So I felt they needed that.
Uh-huh.
Right? And they didn't necessarily feel that they needed that. Okay. But they wanted something else. So I kept getting asked, oh, could you do a contract review for us? Mm-hmm. Could you review our contracts? And I was like, yeah, okay. So I developed that and that took off.
Right. So that was like the side thing, but that was the thing that got the traction.
Yeah, that was what they wanted.
Oh, okay.
And then after we did what they wanted and they're like, oh yeah, that was cool. That was good. And I was like, well, can I do this other thing, which is your post award, your contractual letters, your extension of time, your variations.
Yep.
And that is costs significantly more, but you trust us now.
Yeah.
And so but they're like, yeah, okay, exactly. And then once we gave them what they wanted and we're giving them what they need, they felt like they were getting so much value.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you couldn't go in with the big sell, but you could do the small thing to earn the trust early on.
Exactly.
Just looking over the document and just giving tips and tricks on it.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's how that started off, and that wasn't what I wanted to do at all. Yeah. But then it just that was my foot in the door.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And how did you reach those customers? What were you doing to actually get in front of them, or like how were you first making them aware that you exist and that you sold that?
When I first started, I got so I read a book called The One-Page Marketing Plan by Allan Dib.
Yep.
And in the one-page marketing plan, there's a thing, the shock and awe package. And so I went to, actually Allan himself told me where to go, right? So he goes, we'll talk about that particular thing again in a little bit.
Please.
But go to this place in China, or like get in touch with these guys, and I ordered these 50 video brochures.
Video brochures.
Yeah, video brochures. So you get a video brochure and you open up and it plays video.
What?
Straight away. So you get it in the package and you open up this video brochure and it goes.
Has a screen inside.
It's a screen inside.
No way.
And then the screen is me going, hey, and I record them directly. I go, hey Cam, I just want to reach out. I know you're quite hard to get to, you know, and blah, blah, blah. Here's what we do. Can we have a meeting?
Get out.
And I got meetings with almost all the big CEOs of all the big companies around Perth.
Damn. It's hard to ignore something like that.
Yeah. So that got me my first in, and that got me my first 3 clients. So,
wow.
And that was just Perth based.
Yep.
But I got a bit fatigued with meeting people for lunches and, you know, the traditional BD.
Yep.
And so I wanted to do something that was more SaaS related, more like as if you were running an online company.
Yeah.
And doesn't matter where they were. And so we started this LinkedIn strategy.
Okay. Tell me about that.
I got a team in the Philippines. So the LinkedIn strategy, I guess I give it away.
Yeah. Well, man, it works for you, but it's something which across other industries might work too. Right?
Yeah, I think look, it's not patented or anything, but it is so we've got a couple of LinkedIn profiles. And
so personal profiles.
Profiles.
So it's called Cian Brennan.
Cian Brennan.
Yep.
Sarah McCarran.
Yep.
Sarah McCarran is my wife.
Yep.
We also now have Barbara Hilgers and we have Santo.
Okay.
So they're all employees of mine. So they all have LinkedIn profiles.
Yep.
And we've got about 6 months of content that goes out there and kind of recycled.
So posts that you're putting out on your LinkedIn profile.
We comment on people's posts.
Yep.
We reshare people's posts. But the main thing is we add 50 people a day, which is the max on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And then about 25 people, and we got stats in these. We add 50 people, 25 people accept every day. And
are these all premium LinkedIn accounts with a little gold
Navigator,
even
okay. more expensive because you need that for the search function.
Okay.
So you do that, and then you they get subjected to your advertising for about a month. Not advertising, but your posts.
Yeah, they get to see the content, so it's organic, really. Yeah.
Yeah, and then a month later, you send them a lead message on LinkedIn.
Right.
And on LinkedIn, you say, "Hey, I'm Keith and blah."
Why do you wait a month?
Because he wants to consume some content.
Yes.
Yeah, you
so
don't want to be
trust.
like, I just accepted this guy, and all of a sudden now he's messaging me.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll also simultaneously get their emails from LinkedIn.
Yes.
And send them an email at the start saying, "Hey, just want to introduce myself, Keith," and no sell whatsoever.
Yep. Just a hello.
Just a hello. And then they get added to the content, and then eventually it adds for lead. This is all managed by our team in the Philippines.
Yep.
And they eventually give us a lead, and they send the lead to my sales guy. Sales guy rings them, books them in for a qualifying call. And then if they're a fit, you book them in for what we call a launch call, which is a sales call.
It's beautiful. The thing that's so nice about it is you don't have the ask up front. So everyone's experienced that in LinkedIn where you have someone connect with you and straight away there's like this canned sort of spiel about their company. It's all about them and they're asking you for something.
Yeah.
So you're connecting. It's soft. A lot of people just go, okay, it sounds like this guy's in my industry. Might see a couple of posts. So already you might have sort of 4 or 5 connection points over the course of a month where they've seen you passively.
Yeah.
And then it's an ask after about a month through LinkedIn mail.
It's not even LinkedIn mail. It's just a chat.
It's just a chat.
Because you're friends with them.
Uh-huh.
You're connected.
Yep.
You don't have to LinkedIn mail them.
Yep. And it's an invitation for a one-on-one sales call.
Kind of. It's like, it is. It's like, hey, whatever that we have it kind of canned. It is canned, but it's very.
But it feels legit.
Yeah, it's like hi Cam. We're helping construction subcontractors review their contracts. Like you, whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then do you want to have a chat? Or are you interested?
Nice.
Say yes, and then the team will book them in with my sales guy.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. So it's really it's a funnel process, and there's a
funnel.
numbers game, and you probably know exactly how many you need to connect with in order to book how many calls. Yeah, amazing.
And as part of that now, we've added to that where we have LinkedIn events.
Yep.
LinkedIn events are running all day, all the time.
Wow.
And not all day, all the time. So basically, they can only run for I can't remember. I think it's like 13 days. But so you start a LinkedIn event and you add people. You invite them to. We have a workshop.
Yep.
A live workshop 3 times a week, and then they get added. Sorry, they get invited to come to it, which isn't spammy because you're inviting them to go to a free workshop.
Sure.
There's nothing. We're not asking them for anything. We
it's
don't on the
value for them.
workshop. We don't sell them anything at all.
Yep.
And so that's just another content provider.
Okay.
And then,
So what sort of content do you share in the...
It's basically, the title of that is how to protect your company contractually and make more profit on your projects.
Yeah, cool.
So it's basically what to look for in your contracts to make sure you don't sign up something stupid.
Yep.
And then what you need to do when the project kicks off to make sure you get paid for what you've done in addition to what you're supposed to do.
Who doesn't want to make more profit and who doesn't want to be protected?
Exactly.
Weird Growth is sponsored by Ammo Marketing. In fact, we're recording the episode here in our offices right now. If you're interested in growth marketing for innovative businesses or even just checking out what we do, please visit ammo.marketing and have a little look around. Thanks so much. Let's get back to this amazing episode. That's the LinkedIn side. And then once you sort of do have that conversation, you're starting to get in front of them a little bit more. Are you using a CRM or something to track those relationships? And is there sort of an automation that happens at that side as well?
Yeah, so I'm a data junkie.
Are you?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
But we do have a CRM. CRM is Pipedrive. So it's
Pipedrive?
Pipedrive. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, lovely.
But all we're tracking in Pipedrive is moving them through the funnel.
Yes.
And reminding people to ring the guy again because they didn't answer that time, or they said call me back in a couple of days, or whatever it is.
Yeah. So the cool thing about Pipedrive too is it's quite visual, really. You can kind of see at each stage of the customer journey where
everyone is.
How many tags
the thing
you
is,
have.
it gets so big and so long.
Right.
At each stage.
It's unwieldy, does it?
It can, it can do.
Okay.
It can do.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's better things out there, but that's work for us.
Yeah.
And then
Pipedrive makes sense when you maybe have like up to sort of a dozen deals at each stage or something like that. Is that?
It does. We've got hundreds and hundreds.
Yeah.
So it's like, it can get a bit like what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone's interested, we move them through pretty quickly.
Right. Yeah, you can tell.
You can tell. And we have a stage which is, it used to be, we used to call it the limbo stage. And the limbo stage is we had the sales call and they're like, I can't make whatever, I can't make a decision myself, whatever objection they had. And we put them in the limbo stage. And that was a real pain for us, the damn limbo stage, right? And so we started to call it a yes/no stage.
Yes.
And so we said, right, well, what we're going to do, we if they said that, we go, right, we're going to now, obviously in a nice way, we say, okay, right, I get that you've got to talk to your board of directors, right? When can you next
Classic
do that?
deflection strategy.
Yeah. When can you next do that? And they go, my next board meeting is next Thursday or whatever. Okay, right. If you chat to him on Thursday, can we speak on Friday? Is that okay? And they're like, yeah. Okay, so we'll book in a call for the Friday. And what we do is we call that a yes/no call.
Yep.
And so it's no problem. If you don't want to do it, just say no.
Yep.
So we can close it out our side.
Yep,
and if you want to go ahead, you say yes. So they turn up to that with we're going ahead or not. And that saves everyone time.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Do you think that improves conversion rates on their side as well?
I think so, yeah.
Right.
Because they go into that and they go, I need an answer. Is it a yes or no? Are we going ahead with this or not?
Yeah.
And that gets people moving.
Yeah, it's the old close. Yeah. Always be closing. Yeah, cool. Oh, that's really nice, mate. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's super useful for a lot of people. It's something we get asked a lot. How do you manage your CRM and your sales process? And there's obviously so much to it.
Yeah.
But at least having a clear journey and process and steps and something like Pipedrive to help you with that is really
Pipedrive is okay. But honestly, the game changer for us is Google Sheets.
Google Sheets.
Yeah. Or
spreadsheet.
And so we had Salesforce.
Yep.
Come
really
try and sell us.
Yep.
I was interested, right? I was interested, but there was literally nothing they could do that we weren't already doing.
No way.
Right. So we said, okay, well, I was like, Pipedrive, and they're like, oh, we can combine it all into one. I was like, yeah, but you want me to pay 10 grand a month for that? And it's I don't want to pay 10 grand just to combine it all in one thing. Basically, at the end of the day, is where we stood.
Pretty expensive.
But if my sales guys make 80 calls a day. Yep. That's their target.
Yep.
So we track dials. Then we track what we call brainstorms, which is like qualifying call. And then we track sales calls. And then we track sales. And so we're able to see what our conversion rate is on all, and then obviously leads as well, and where the leads came from.
Yep.
So we have leads, calls, blah, blah, blah. And then so it all comes down. And then we have a figure at the bottom, which is basically how many dollars we make per call.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it's just simple maths. And
Wow.
they're the
That's
stats
nice.
that you want as a manager or a CEO or whatever level you call yourself to make decisions. Because then you can go pretty comfortably I can hire someone else, or we've got a problem here.
Yeah.
We're not
this is the
converting
conversions.
this part, or, that's what you're looking to do.
Mate, yeah. And that is impossible unless you are obsessed about actually measuring every point of the way and what the conversion rates are, because then how do you make those decisions?
No, you can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where it's when you start a business and you're obviously an operator, and then you know the classic, you're moving to becoming a manager, and then you move and become an owner.
Yep.
But when you move to those levels, you need to make sure that those stats are there and you have those dashboards, because otherwise you've no idea what's happening in your business when you're employing people.
Yep. Again, a super common challenge is not having that measurability or that transparency with your marketing and sales.
Yep.
So you just keep throwing money at it, hoping it's going to get better.
Yeah.
Or, more activity. And then what ends up happening is you might actually miss the thing that really works. And so then you keep sort of changing tactics, and you don't have a steady kind of process to figuring out what works.
Yeah.
And then success comes and goes, and it's like it becomes lumpy and unpredictable.
Yeah. Or you're doing everything right.
Yeah.
And then you start tinkering with something that's working.
Yeah.
That's it. That happens too.
It breaks.
Yeah.
Amazing. Who is your perfect customer? Do you have a feeling now when you reach someone and you can just identify this guy is going to be...
Well, because of LinkedIn.
Yep.
Our perfect customer is a general manager, CEO, managing director of a construction company, of a construction subcontractor.
So someone who has decision-making ability in that industry.
Yeah, of a company between 50 and whatever. Like LinkedIn, we know what it is from LinkedIn. We know what that person is.
So good.
It's good.
Yeah. That's the amazing thing about LinkedIn. But you started in Australia.
Yes.
And are you anywhere else yet?
Yes.
Where?
Yes, we are in New Zealand.
Wow.
We are, so Australia and New Zealand, we have most of our clients. We launched in Texas 6 weeks ago.
In Texas, USA. 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, and we've had some sales calls.
Wow.
They've been an experience.
Yeah.
We haven't
a different market? Like, is it the same? Is the playbook work?
Yeah, it's funny. There's a really good book that I'd like to recommend to your listeners, and it's by a guy called Keith Cunningham, and it's I can't remember exactly why I wrote it down here.
We'll pop the link in the show notes.
The Road Less Stupid.
The Road Less Stupid by Keith Cunningham.
So do you know Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Yes.
Keith Cunningham is Rich Dad.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and he's got 2 books. He's got another book, The Ultimate Blueprint for an Insanely Successful Business. Also, those 2 books are must-reads. They're awesome. Really,
so is that all about the ownership mindset and stuff
all
like
about,
that?
I run a business. So what are my dashboards? What am I looking for? How can I tell if I'm doing well or if I'm not doing well? But The Road Less Stupid is about not making stupid mistakes.
Okay.
And it's not about, he goes, everyone's smart enough to do well. Everyone does well. But actually what happens in life is you go well and you make a stupid mistake and you come back like way down.
Yep.
And so he's about avoiding them. And one of the things he always talks about is thinking time, quiet time, and just sitting down with a pen and paper. And I remember I flew down this morning, and I was writing away about the US, like what's going on with the US?
Yep.
Why haven't we made a sale? And one of the things I think I've come to is we just haven't committed. So we started LinkedIn.
It's hard to get there at the moment.
Yeah. Well, we started. Well, we're also still selling from Australia.
Right.
So we kind of just said, well, what we'll do is we'll start marketing there, and if a lead comes in and we sell it and we close, great. Then we'll start operating there. And so I don't think I've actually gone, right, well, let's just hire people in the US. Let's just start it there. And that's maybe the quitting the job sort of.
That's the jumping first 2 feet in. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a decision for the next quarter.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Why Texas and why the US?
Well, I've got a business coach, and who I respect, and he's like, he said, if you're successful, and business coaching is one of the key things to being a successful entrepreneur.
I'd love to ask you about that in a sec. Yeah.
If you are already successful in Australia, selling via Zoom and having an internet that's fully digital, it'll go gangbusters in America, because the market in Australia is harder. There's slower uptake on people getting onto Zoom, selling via Zoom. This has already happened in the US 5 years ago. They're all used to it.
Wow. Yeah.
So, and then like Texas is the same size of Australia, same population.
Unbelievable.
In just Texas. So we're like, and then Texas has a similar. We're WA, so we got the oil and gas companies, the construction off oil and gas.
Yeah.
So we have the experience of dealing with all these contracts anyway. So I was like, okay,
similar market.
Texas is a similar market. Canada is also a similar market.
Wow. So you can go to the US and basically access to almost, well, in Texas alone, double your market.
Yeah.
Overnight. So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's loads of different things. So there's different law. There's all sorts of stuff you need to get around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a different market, and it's just about taking the plunge.
Yeah. Good on you, mate. Tell me about the business coach.
Yeah. So one of if advice I give to an entrepreneur starting off is, okay, stop spending money on stupid things.
Yep.
Like logos and stuff, right? It really doesn't matter, right? And websites. And I would spend money on just avoiding all the mistakes. And you want to spend enough money that it seems like it's too much money.
Okay. So it feels like it's expensive.
Feels like it's expensive.
Okay.
I'm not saying go and look for something that isn't a bargain.
Yeah.
Right? What I'm saying is you got to find a person that works for you, who knows what they're doing, that's done it before, and then when they charge you, go, oh, that's spicy.
Yep.
Because when you have that feeling, you're gonna do the work. You're gonna do the work.
You're gonna make sure you get value for money.
You're gonna make sure you get value for money, and then all of a sudden that money becomes nothing.
Interesting. Huh?
Becomes nothing.
Yeah. So someone who's been there, made some of those, learned from those mistakes before, so you don't have to make them.
Yeah. Ideally, someone who started a business, has a business and sold out.
Okay.
He's done the whole thing, start to finish, maybe a couple of times. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah. Okay.
And those guys not cheap.
And they start seeing some patterns and things, and they're able to help you identify those as well. Okay.
Exactly.
Yep.
I mean, so my business coach guy is Allan Dib.
Yep.
Right. So the one-page marketing plan. If you go to his website, successwise.com.
Yep.
Just it's great.
Check it out.
Check it out, basically. And he was like, no, don't do the day rate model. You need to do the retainer model. First thing. That's been an amazing thing for me.
Advice.
Awesome thing for me.
Game changer.
Spend no money on the websites. Do nothing on the website. This is what I need you to do. So I need you to model your sales thing. So it was all there, and it was just do it, and I did it, and then we made money. And
Funny that.
Right? So it's not. It is hard. Of course, it's hard. But if you get the right advice and you do the right things, it's not that hard.
If it was easy, then everyone would do it.
Yeah.
If we had all the answers,
then
everyone would be billionaires.
Yeah.
But then it wouldn't work. Yeah.
But how do you ignore? So all of a sudden you start searching, help for an entrepreneur, and then all of a sudden you get targeted with ad for courses after course after course after course. And how do you choose who's the right guy for you and whatever? And how do you ignore all of that?
How did you?
What?
How did you?
Well, because I had Allan, and he was like, ignore it all.
Yeah.
Just ignore every single thing. You don't need to do anything except these three things.
Yeah, but how did you find Allan in the first place?
So Allan, that's where you got to find the right people.
Yeah.
So Allan wrote the #1 marketing book in the world. If you look it up on eBay or it's
so that's where the one-page marketing plan came from.
One-page marketing plan, and he lives in Australia, same time zone, and I just reached out to him. He said, "Yeah, this is how much it costs."
So cool.
Happy days.
Yeah.
And he does it for fun, basically.
Yeah.
He's already made his money.
Yeah, he does.
You know? So he's just,
That's amazing. Yeah. So what could possibly be next for the future? So focus on US hopefully in the next 12 months.
US is definitely what we're going to focus on for quantum contract solutions. For quantum legal solutions, it'll be Australia. It'll be replicating what we did last year and the year before for quantum contract solutions in Australia for quantum legal solutions.
Yep.
So it's a slightly different business. So there's lots of work out there. But
and for different customers or still similar customer base?
It will still be similar customers, so similar size of a business, but it's not just going to be construction. It'll be all that size of business.
Okay, yeah. I imagine you've seen Legal Aid. And, like really interesting business model. They came from being a traditional law firm.
Yep.
And now they basically sell, a monthly retainer to have basically legal advice on tap.
Yep.
And then as they, grow their database of answers and templates and things, it just gets exponentially, more automated and really interesting business model. I think we're going to see a lot more of that.
I think so too.
In the future. Yeah. So is that sort of what you aim for, that kind of business
Similar,
model?
but niched.
Yeah, nice.
Niched down just to compliance.
Beautiful.
Yeah. That's
the amazing thing about your business, I think, is that people we talk about, total addressable market size, TAMs being, in the billions and trillions of dollars, but no one business is ever going to take all of that. But if the tighter down that you can niche, so the construction industry, contractors in the construction industry and their legal needs, such a tight little niche, most people will go, oh, geez, that's not going to be a really lucrative market. But if you can really understand those customers' problems and get right under the fingernails of it and give them exactly what they want, then you're just going to have so much more laser focus on the marketing and how you're selling to those people, and also on the tightness of the product too. That's the recipe for a successful business.
Absolutely.
And then you use that as a toehold to grow and expand into other things from there, right?
That's it. Yeah, I mean, the fall off stuff. I mean, the quantum legal solutions came about because people kept saying to us, can you draft us contracts?
Mm-hmm.
You can't. It's a legal activity. You need a legal company. You need a legal license, all of that sort of stuff. So we can't. So we had to subcontract it out. So then it was like, well, oh my God, I think we spent $100,000 last year subcontracting out to another company, on which it was my friend's company. So it's an okay deal.
Yeah.
But we made no money. Basically, it was $100,000 that we didn't make.
Yeah.
So immediately we could start a company, and we know that we'll make, like, if we do nothing with the business at all, it'll still generate about $100,000.
Yep. There you go.
Which is better than it's just $100,000 that was going away, right?
For sure. That's really exciting, Matt. So you've given a few nuggets of advice for founders, but if there was one big piece of advice that you would give to founders just starting out, what else could you say to them?
One of my favorites is to. It depends on where you are in the journey, but what I like the most is to revel in keeping your overheads low. Okay. Right. If you can think of that as cool.
Yep.
Right. And not so. I remember years ago. I think I was still in uni, but I was kind of working, and also I was. There's a huge construction project in Dublin, and they're building this massive shopping centre, and there's going to be Ireland's first skyscraper, which incidentally never got built. Right, never got built. They did a hole in the ground. Everything was done, and then 2008 came. Didn't get off the ground, or didn't get out from under the ground.
Yep.
And I remember just the biggest. Did you ever watch Hamish and Andy's their power plays or whatever?
Yeah.
I just thought this was. I remember at the back, it came into this room, and it was like architects, and they were all dressed beautifully. And then like the guys I was working for, my company, quantity surveying company, and they're all dressed in their suits. You know, slightly less, weren't as nice as the architects. And then there was lawyers, and all these bigwigs in the room, and all their cronies, right? And I was clearly a crony, right? I was taking notes, and the guy came in. Who it was the main guy, the guy financing the whole thing. The guy it was his whole baby, right? Sean Quinn, and he came in and he looked like he just came from the pub. He had like a daggy shirt on, like I had a blazer. It was kind of, and he had this. I remember he had this Nokia phone, and it was so big.
Yeah,
and everyone else had these nice new phones, and his phone was so. And he took a call. It was kind of rude.
Yep.
At the same time, I remember going, that's cool.
Yeah, and this is the man as well.
This was the man, and he just looked so like, you know, like it just, who are all of these guys? And I kind of thought that was cool. And then so with business, I think it's cool if your overheads, if you have a really profitable business and your overheads are super low.
Yep.
I think that is what you want to strive for, and rather than thinking I want to be driving a Lambo. Sure. And that's what I want a business to be.
Yeah, that's not how you make a successful business.
No, I don't think, but if you can be reveling, like, so in where I work, there's like 4 other people work there, 4 other companies work there, and there's an accountancy, and there's like, I just have a room. Yep. It's a nice room, but it's not amazing. Yep. And I often think to myself, it's kind of cool that I just have this little spot. For sure. And
so the rest of your team works remotely?
Everyone's remote. Yeah. Everyone's remote. And then, but the other companies here have no idea, that we're such a big company. You know what I mean? Which is, I think that's cool. I think that's cooler than the Lambo.
I agree. Yeah. I do. But you also get, so there's, a penny saved is a penny earned, that sort of concept. And then you also get but you need to invest to grow, or you need to spend money to make money. Yeah. So how do you sort of balance those two competing things? Yeah, because then you actually, because your overheads are so low, you then have this extra cash in your business to spend on things that are going to give you more output. You're going to get, if I spend the money on this person or this thing, the output is going to generate me more revenue, more profit. Yep. So that's an investment. So every time I spend money, it's like, okay, so this is where it comes back to the dollars per call. If I can get another salesperson who's going to make another 80 calls a day, what's that going to return? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the cost of him, bam, and then, I can afford him. Cool. Yeah. Right. But I kind of live my life that way anyway. Like my wife has all the nice things, right? As long as you've got money for beers. Yeah, exactly. I'm happy to drive a shitty car. I'm happy to whatever. I don't care. Yeah. As long as my family has nice things, it doesn't bother me. That's awesome. One other thing that we do on Weird Growth is show and tell time. Sure. So are there any favorite tools or devices or things that make your life better that you're using right now that you want to share with others?
From a business point of view?
Whatever. If it's in personal life or in business, whatever.
Those 2 Keith Cunningham books are exceptional.
Yeah, we'll put links to those for sure.
Look, my life is those Google Sheets.
Google Sheets is an amazingly powerful piece of software.
I know it's just Excel.
Yeah.
But if actually, what I would suggest to do is in the Keith Cunningham's book, in his second book, he shows you how to do a CEO dashboard.
Okay, CEO dashboard.
Okay, so with the book, you can then create a Google Sheet that will create a CEO dashboard. And just to give you an overview how it is in general.
Yep.
If you got your profit and loss, you got your income statement and your cash flow.
Yep.
Right? Is that right? Yeah. Or balance sheet. Sorry.
Okay.
And so on their own, they're kind of, they're not useless, but they're
like accounting concepts.
Exactly. Yeah.
Things, right? They're not
and
really.
So if he shows you how to create them into a picture over time.
Mm-hmm.
And to productivity effectiveness of your business.
Okay.
And then you can see what is happening to your business over time, and then you can see a red flag from a number.
Yep.
And then you can all of a sudden you can look at your business and go, oh look, business is growing, everything is okay. Seems like things are not okay because for something. But
because all you're looking at is maybe your bank account balance or something, which is kind of irrelevant.
Or vice versa. You can go, businesses. And then so once you have those dashboards, you've got your CEO dashboard, you can make really good decisions. Right. And so investing your time into all of those dashboards, your sales and marketing dashboard, your operations dashboard, or how much hours people spend, and then just overall CEO finance level dashboard. If you got those things in play, you're going to have a good business, or you're going to be able to make really good decisions. And that's what you have to do.
Awesome advice. Cian, that's awesome, mate. Thank you so much for joining us today. What's the final sort of ask or plug or whatever that you want? How can people get involved with Quantum Group if they're interested?
Go to quantumcontractsolutions.com.
Yep.
Top right, there is a free training.
Nice.
So that one we talked about earlier.
Yes.
So if just honestly go on there, it's free. There's no sales pitch on there whatsoever.
Yep. Let's try it out.
You'll learn how to protect your company contractually. You'll learn how to make sure you get your variations and EOTs approved, your cash flow strong, profit margin, and avoiding disputes. I think it's about 40 minutes long, and there's to be 3 trainings every week. Register, watch it.
Yeah, and you get to experience a slick customer onboarding experience, or the sales experience as well.
There's no sales there.
Okay,
there's no
course
sales.
There's not.
That's
it's all quality.
That's all
content.
info. That's
nice.
all info.
That's good.
Potentially after that,
yes,
there may be a sale
if you're a good fit.
Yes,
that's right. Well, Cian, thank you so much for being on Weird Growth. It's been a really interesting chat, and thank you for being so generous with all your tips and advice too, mate.
My pleasure.
Thank you for being on here. And thank you for listening to Weird Growth. If you enjoyed the episode, please do subscribe if you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Check out our YouTube as well. This is on video if you're listening to this on audio. And please leave a review and subscribe. But until next time, bye-bye.
Weird Growth is brought to you by a new product from Ammo Marketing called MyFunnel. For early stage founders, it can be really hard to know what channels and tactics to use for your startup marketing. So we've built a free tool that generates a marketing funnel for your startup. Go to myfunnel.com.au, answer a few questions, and you'll have something in your inbox in 5 seconds.